we are, episode 1 of the Claiming Your Success Conversations with Caroline and Sabrina podcast. Kaza, here we are.
I can't
Episode
even.
number 1. Can you even believe
Number
that
one.
we made it here?
No, I cannot. I can't even believe we are here. Like, I still feel it's surreal.
Isn't it?
Like, it's so surreal, especially where it was just like, right, should we do this? Few months brainstorming, bit more brainstorming, and then it was like, we're here.
We're doing it.
We're here. We're doing it.
And I was thinking this morning, I was like, what? Like, to share our story with everyone who's listening, because I know that they're going to get so much out of all the goods that we've got to share about business and career progression and entrepreneurship and being a businesswoman and being a woman of color even in this space. I was thinking, like, how did we even get here? And I was like, Caroline, and well, I was going to say Caroline entered my life. No, I interjected myself into Caroline's life.
She so did, she
That's
slid.
how it started, right?
That is how it started, and that is where, like, my journey all started, you know? Sabrina slid into my DMs. Like, that's how it works. That is the beauty of networking and in an online space. Like, I had no clue what my life was going to be, like, how it was going to be, how it was going to turn out now, until Sabrina sent me that first message.
Yeah.
What about you? How did it start for you? Because I would not even know.
For me, I had a personal training business. I co-owned a boutique fitness studio. Like, there was a completely off left field career trajectory that I thought that I was on. Like, I loved it. I was working out all the time. Things were going great until they were very much not going great. I think my obsession with being the best version of myself that I can possibly be in every stage that I'm on played a massive role in struggles in my marriage, because I was giving so much to the brick and mortar business that I was running and personal training and teaching and all of that. And there was some things that happened in that business partnership that I was in then too, that it brought me to this place where I was like, okay, something needs to shift dramatically. Something needs to change. Because I don't know, Kaz, have you ever been in a situation where it feels like you have everything that you've always dreamed of having, but it doesn't feel right within yourself? Like, it doesn't feel as if it's right. Like, from the outside looking in, it looks great, but within yourself, there's something seriously missing.
I want to say yes, because without me even realizing, because that kind of was me prior to you sliding in my DMs, because if anything, I didn't know what was out there and what we could have, right? And it was just like that who I am now was that piece missing, because getting up and just going to work, paying the bills, not having any, like, literally getting paid, few weeks, money's gone, waiting for the next paycheck. That's what I thought life was, you know? So in a way, I did, yeah. Like, when you think about it.
I hope everyone listening just caught that bit that you said, because that just made my heart melt. You said the who I am now was the piece that was missing.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that so true? That's the beauty of this entrepreneurial journey. It's not necessarily all the things that you acquire, like the success and the bank account and all of that. Yes, that stuff's great, but who you become in the process of this is the gift. And that sounds so freaking cheesy, and I almost hate myself for saying that.
No,
right?
No, it's that, and that's what I share with people, you know, it's who you become, and then you realize that you can even develop that person who, when you're like, oh my gosh, I did that was me, and then you realize that you can level up again. You just keep leveling up, and that's what you realize, that's what life is. We continue to grow, learn, develop, and keep climbing, not the ladder, it's like the ladder inside us, actually, because we are destined for more.
Yeah. What do you think would be, like, the thing that made the moment that you decided that your more was a non-negotiable for you? What can you recognize what that one moment was?
Oh,
I'm just so curious.
That's a good one. I feel like it would have been, so with me doing this full time, right, guys, working in retail as a store manager, I feel like it would have been when I was going through something really challenging with work, right? Because listen, there's people that do the entrepreneurial journey alongside working full time, and that's what I do. There's people that don't, and when you've got something going on in work and it can be very challenging, that's when you start to let something dip, you know? And I think my time where I found out how empowering I actually was when I got through the challenging time at work, and it was just me changing roles and getting uncomfortable and having to get used to being uncomfortable and being pretty much, my work ethic was up there, when I was working in the shops. Then it went down when I went into wholesale because it's a new environment for me. And knowing that I smashed that 5 months, still kept up with business, still showed up for myself, that was when it was like, and that was only 2022, guys. 2022, so that was when it was like, hold up a minute, you can do anything, Caroline, regardless of what you got going on around you. You just got to stay focused and committed, and also keep pouring into you. It was Sabrina that said to me, when things get hard, lean in to what brings you the most happiness and joy. That has stayed with me. So when I'm having a tough time, I know I'm going for that workout. I know I'm drawing for that podcast, going for the journaling. I lean into the things that make me happy. Bath, nail, all of that. Sorry. Just
no,
like,
don't apologize. I think it's just so powerful to I have to get used to leaning into the mic, because I'm always the person that sits back when I'm pondering things, and it's like, no, what Caroline just said, lean in. But no, I think it's so interesting that, in a scenario like that, what you just described, going through a really hard time, and this is what I see so much from business women. It's women that I mentor, but business people in general, is that one person will see like a hard, challenging season of life, and they will run in the opposite direction. They will, let that thing consume them, let that thing kind of take front and center and be the only thing. They become tunnel vision on this one challenge. Everything else goes to pot, right? And then there's a second type of person who will approach that challenge and be like, okay, I'm like, everything else that needs my attention, that's going to continue to get my attention whilst I continue to kind of navigate and figure out this thing. And by doing that, that second person expands their capacity, right? That's what came to mind when you were describing that, is like going through that hard thing, you expanded your capacity of what you can like go through and what you can manage. And then you get out the other side of that and you're like, holy crap, like I can do so much more than I believe myself capable of. And neither person is better. It's just an understanding of how different people like approach challenge. And you've got to ask yourself the question of the person that I want to be, I want to become, the results that I want to see in my life. Which person do I need to be? The person that runs away from the challenge, or the person that digs their knees into the ground, even if we have to crawl towards that finish line through it?
Oh, yeah. Listen, and head held high while I'm crawling. And it's like, what's so beautiful about the journey is that was me. I used to, run away. I used to not face it head on, So this is where I can really open up and share that. Once you start understanding that, listen, everyone goes through tough challenges. All of us do, even the most positive person. It's just that the ones that have developed, trained, nurtured themselves, they know how to tackle those challenges face on and not let any distractions feed the end game,
So good. And would you say that lean in message was like the defining kind of message for you that helped you, is the thing that you keep coming back to when challenges come up, so it helps you continue to move forward?
That one, and probably a couple more other one-liners you've hit at me, Sabrina. Yeah. It will all flow out. I'm telling you, it'll all start to flow out because there's a few.
I tend to do that. I come up with whatever. Anyway, I was just thinking, I asked that question because I can think of the one thing that came up for me, or the one thing I heard, and I can't even give the person credit because I honestly don't remember who it was that said it. I think it was in a training, like in my very early days of being in this entrepreneurial space in my network marketing business. The very early days of it, I was listening to a training, and one of the leaders of the network at that time, she said, as long as you don't quit, you will win by default. That's what she said. As long as you don't give up, you will win by default because everybody else gives up.
Yep.
And I've been in my business for 7.5 years, 7+ years. It's more than 7.5 years at this point, 7+ years. And that always sticks with me through every season of challenge, through every missed goal, through every moment of like, oh, I don't know whether I can do this. I don't know if this, whether I can really make my dreams come true. I always think if you don't give up, you will win by default, because everybody else going through a season of challenge gives up.
And that's all it is. That is all I've noticed, the pattern, There's too many of us. To put the number on it, they say 99% of us that just don't want to do the uncomfortable, stay comfortable, and will continuously give up. Hence why there's only that 1% club, because that's 1% of the world that will continue to keep going.
Sad.
Listening.
Like,
it's sad.
Think about that statistic, and I think when I hear you say 1%, I'm like, wow, there's 8 billion people on the planet. And yes, you've got people living in abject poverty and people living in, scenarios that don't maybe attest to them starting a podcast or starting a business or whatever. Like, I get that. But you've got this myriad of millions, billions of people in the Western world, at the very least, if we can call it that have all the opportunities available to us. We can Google a university degree, basically, so much information is right here at our fingertips. And only 1% of people will actually achieve the hopes and dreams that they have on their heart. Like, what do you think is your differentiating factor, if you were to put a nail on it?
As into why I continue to keep going and continue to keep showing up. Yeah. It's belief, knowing that I'm worth more, and the
what
fact
makes
that...
you believe that? I'm just curious, because I know people listening are thinking to themselves, well, must be nice. It's all right for you. How many times have we heard these kinds of things?
And I know, and it's so true.
You get so vexed when you hear that. And I'm wondering, what is it that makes you have that level of belief that somebody who's sitting saying must be nice, to pinpoint why you can do it?
So this is all part of the process, right? I never used to have the belief. You don't just wake up and it's like, yep, I believe. It's like when they say you're planting seeds, it's like you slowly start to plant the little seeds inside you when you're growing yourself with the daily habits that come along the journey, right? To then understand that belief. And it's when you accomplish something. It's when you have a task, you think you can't do it, then you actually do it, then you're like, okay, I can do that again. So if anything, it's getting uncomfortable more, realizing it wasn't actually that scary, and then you start to believe in yourself more. Even just, backtracking to a podcast, to how I never used to show up on camera, how I never used to show up on social media. I didn't have the belief I could do it. Now I'm doing it. So what was it so scary for?
So what, the biggest learning curve for you, what would you say that was in actually getting going, actually making moves, actually starting to see success? What was the biggest hurdle or learning curve that you had to navigate to get there?
Biggest hurdle, and I know definitely everyone who'll be listening either is probably this is a hurdle for them, because all of us are doing it, and I still do it, is overthinking. Overthinking's the biggest hurdle. It's the biggest distraction, and overthinking just leads to inaction, and it literally, Nike's been saying it this whole time, just do it. You can't think about it. You got to just do it. So that has been...
Nike's been saying it.
Yo!
Nike has been saying it forever. All the Americans listening are like, it's Nike, by the way. You Brits. Sorry.
Burn. But that's been my biggest hurdle, the overthinking, because then you stop yourself from doing what you actually want to do. And it's the negative thoughts, And I think it's that too. I can't remember when it started, when this pinpointed in my timeline, but we all go straight to thinking the negative. Start going straight to thinking the positive. And that's all I've been doing. You have such a much better outlook on life, Try it. What about you, Sabrina?
Oh man, my biggest learning curve? Pretty much what you just said. And I know this isn't what people want to hear. They want to hear something strategic that they can do, today, go and get a calendar and write out your 52 actions that you're going to take this year and whatever. Yes, things like that, strategic things can be helpful. But I think you just pointed out, exactly where the work is, and that's on you, right? It's
Yep.
on developing your belief system, developing an attitude of like, I'm worth the effort, I'm worth working through this, I can accomplish my goals. Like, that has been the biggest thing for me, and it continues to be, because
Yep.
as we start to dream bigger, we accomplish a dream, and then
Mm.
we dream a little bit bigger because more now is available for us. And so you're always in that thing of, can I, and it's that, I want to say negotiating with yourself. Actually, it's not negotiating with yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's deciding that I will achieve this because I am worth the effort and the energy it's going to be required to achieve this, and then not negotiating with that belief. And honestly, the other piece of that, I think, is understanding that it's going to be like, whenever you set out to start a business, or do anything that you've never done before, it's going to take longer than you think it will.
Yep.
It's going to be harder than you
Hmm.
anticipate it being, and it's going to require more from you than you ever imagined. And I think once you understand that, the timeline thing, because that's a big one, right? How many people say to
It
us, how long
is.
is it going to take?
I
However
know,
long it
right?
takes, that's how
You
long it's
can't
going
put,
to take.
yeah. And I used to say that. I used to think it was that there was a time frame on it until I
Mm,
understood that there's no time frame on it, because what we want is timeless, which is,
mm.
time.
Oh my God, that was such a golden sentence. What we want is timeless. I think that needs to be
Yeah,
the grab for our promotional material. What we want is timeless,
it
because
is. So
it's
don't,
time,
like,
it's freedom,
yeah.
it's all of those things. So why we put in a timeline on us achieving that when it's just our lives that we're talking about?
Right. And what I didn't realize with me saying, I'm going to give it a couple of years, see how it happens. That's already me actually stopping my success, because I'm saying, yeah, no, I'm only giving it that, and then that's it. When actually, if I maybe would have stepped over that 2 year mark, that could have been a success. Because building a business, like you said, it's hard. We're laying the foundation for the first couple of years, and getting people to know what we're about. What they say, Coca-Cola didn't sold what, 12 or whatever in their first year. We're Coca-Cola's, guys.
To
Now look at
think
them.
that, like, we're Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, we start off like that, and then look at the global brand that now exists. And it's not necessarily that everybody has the goal of being a global brand or whatever, but it, for your own self, it's the equivalent of that, right? Because we start as these tiny little seedlings. Like, somebody slides into your DMs and you're kind of like, oh, I don't know whether this could be for me, I don't know. And then you
Yeah.
just say yes, that one yes that then can change everything. And who you become through the process of that expansion is mind blowing.
It is, because like through business, entrepreneurial journey, exactly that is hard. So when we're overcoming all the hard obstacles that come with that, we then start to look at all the life challenges like nothing. Does that make sense? Especially where we've not gone through so much hardship. Pretty much sometimes it's every day, Sometimes it's the messages we get back, or when we're putting up the content and then the comments we get. We go through a lot, and we have to build that thick skin layer. Once we've done that with business, that's again when you become unstoppable with, for example, me in retail. If I go through any challenges with any colleagues or with any customers, I'm like, okay, I've already dealt with someone like this. Let's go. You know, it's too much. It's too much. The person you become.
It really is. And to think about, even in your personal relationships, how you
Oh yeah,
navigate challenge in your personal relationships, what you no longer tolerate from people in your life, the boundaries you're able to put up. Like, I know that there's so many parts of my personal life that are so different because
hmm,
of who I've become as a businesswoman, and my
yeah.
ability to protect my energy in the way that you have to learn how to in business, that also carries over to your personal life.
It does. And like, I used to think it was such a bad thing. I even used to think I was cutting people out, but actually, it's not cutting people out. You're just taking a step back from that person and recognizing, for example, if I was around someone who would always drain my energy and gossip, why do I need to spend 8 hours with them? I can cut that time back and spend 2 hours, talk about the intentional conversation, and then Bye.
Dip out.
Once you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Once it was going to start draining the energy. So I started identifying things like that. And again, it was Sabrina that came through with that. Yeah, it was you. It was you. Why you got to cut it out, Caroline? Just step back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know,
being intentional about where we spend our energy. I think that's such a key thing of not just be like the woman that you're becoming, but in business too, like build something that has never existed, which, you know, success in business for any of us has never existed before, right? Homegirl over there, it exists for her. Homeboy over there, it exists for him, but it doesn't exist for us yet. So we're literally creating something from nothing. And that is going to be hard. So if you're serious about what it is that you're wanting to build and grow, how you spend your energy is crucial. And it's not about cutting people out. As you quite rightly said, we can limit the amount of time. We can put, you know, barriers to our energy when we know that things are starting to drain us. We can politely excuse ourselves. But it's also about understanding that you're not cutting people out. You're not telling somebody that I don't want to be around you anymore because I'm too good for you. I think that's often the worry, is that people think that people are going to be like, who do you think you are? You know, why? Oh, so you think you're better than me now? That kind of thing is the noise that I think we worry that people will think. Yeah. But it's not that we're leaving people behind. And I think this is really, really crucial. And I hope everybody gets this. It's they're choosing not to come with us. Right.
Oh, yeah. And it's that, you know, you start focusing on where you're putting your energy, how you're spending your energy, you know, what sort of sacrifices you can make. For example, guys, doing the podcast right now. Other people might want to do a podcast, but then they might prefer to Netflix and chill. That's okay. But this is where me and Sabrina are, you know, and not everyone will understand that.
True. And, you know, it's not about, so much of this is a personal growth story, right?
Yep.
That's one thing about entrepreneurship that I did not understand in the beginning, that I wish somebody had said. Like, people did say it. Let's be honest. People said it. I wasn't ready to listen to it.
No.
I was like, yeah, whatever. But truly, the process of being a businesswoman, of building something from nothing, of being in this entrepreneurial space, so much of it is a personal growth process. And if the people in your life don't want to grow with you, it's not that you're leaving them behind and think you're better than them all of a sudden. It's that they're choosing to stay in whatever their current reality is. And that's fine. They're not wrong. You're not wrong. But you have to do what's right for you. And if growth is important to you, or as important to you as it is for us, then you're going to make those steps forward. And if they decide that they're not going to come with you, then they self-selected themselves out of your life. That's not your choice.
You are a sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Yeah. So, you know, if you're around 4 other people that are always out drinking, partying, that's what you're going to be doing. And then if it's the fact you want to focus on what you're doing, that's when you're going to you'll start to slowly step away. But then the beauty of an entrepreneurial journey is that you'll start to find people that are like you and surround yourself around the people who were meant for you, who will uplift, grow, develop, do all of that with you, you know. Just you start to find your peoples along the way.
Yeah. And your circle is so much of that, I think. And I don't know whether enough people truly understand it. Like, we hear that you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself. We hear that all the time.
All the time.
And we hear it all the time because it's a valuable message that people need to understand. Like, your environment really does play a massive role in.
And like, who I used to be was someone who would always complain, moan, be quite negative. So even that was something I recognized within myself. You know, I used to just, like I said, go to work and not aim higher or anything like that until I stepped into the entrepreneurial journey and understand that actually, Caroline, we are the creators of our story. We hold the pen. So if you want more, you just got to go for more. You can't feed the distractions. You got to stay focused.
That you think helps you not feed those distractions. Like, if you were going to say, what is the one thing that keeps you on the path to trusting the process, and even with the challenges and even with the failures and even with the hard moments, keeps you on the path of plugging away and doing this thing? What would you say that was?
It's gonna be the little nuggets, I say, that the universe drops us along the journey, and it's the little steps of
The
success.
11-11s.
Yes, do you
Those
know
are
what I
mine.
mean? You know,
Butterflies and 11-11. Then I'm like, okay,
like,
universe, I see you. I'm good. I can carry on today.
and like you always look back on your journey and you think, you know, that's who I used to be, and this is how I am now. You will start to see, for example, small example is the running club that I do. I run every week. Did I know that was going to lead to doing a half marathon? No, but it happened. And now I'm like, I never thought I was going to do that, but I did that. That's a sign, so it's paying attention to the little things. And I really did start to see those little bits of success when I was journaling, and when you start reflecting on your week and looking back and thinking, okay, what went well? What was good? What was great? We don't appreciate the little things that we do. Sorry, I go off into a ramble,
No, it's so no, but that's so valuable. Like, journaling is one of the top hacks. I think people don't understand the value of, for exactly the reason that you just said. You get to understand yourself better. Yep. You get to see things differently, because when you're looking at them, it's almost like when you write something down, you get to look at it from a third person perspective. And you can look at it like, oh, that was a win. That was a great moment.
Right.
That was the thing that I need to carry on doing. Oh. That's something that I need to stop doing, for the love of God. Like, you get to be able to see things a little bit differently. And then it's that ability to, right way to say it, I think it's the ability to understand that there's no one moment that changes everything.
Yes, that's It's
like an accumulation of things. Mm-hmm. And when you have the ability to look at these things and understand how all of these moments compounded into this, like, I didn't know when I slid into your DMs, how long ago? 4 years ago?
Yep, for June 2020. So just a couple months before that.
During the pandemic, right? Slid into your DMs during the pandemic. I didn't know 4 years later we would be starting a podcast together.
Right. But universe wanted us to align again, Sabrina.
That's what I'm saying. But you don't, and that's the value of doing the next right thing for your process. Like, if in your entrepreneurial space, in your business building journey, you need to do X amount of contacts a day, you need to have X amount of conversations with new people a day to grow your business, grow your audience, start to build the community that you want to build. If you know that that's what you need to do that, because you don't know where that next connection is going to go. Imagine if I hadn't messaged you that day.
We would not be here.
We wouldn't be here, and our lives wouldn't be the same, because I know that we have powerfully impacted each other in ways that I don't know whether the ripple of that can ever be counted fully, because we just have such a special bond and special relationship. And I think it's so powerful to understand you don't know the value of that very next right thing to do. So just do the next right thing. Do it. Fade to black.
I can't.
And that kind of brings us full circle to what you said. Like, Nike said it first, just do it.
Literally. And I only thought that a couple of days ago, like, just do it. And I just thought, I've been wearing Nike since I was how old? And I didn't pay attention to that slogan. All of us don't pay attention to it. All of us. Like, we give us too much time to think about something. Sometimes make the decision. Oh, that's the alarm. Get used to failing and, carrying on. That'll be another episode, though.
Yeah, that will be another episode. Man, that time when that alarm went off, we had to set an alarm for ourselves, listeners, because we will talk until our ears fall off and our jaws disconnect and everyone else's ears are bleeding. So we have to set ourselves a timeline. And when that just went off, I was like, what do you mean it's been 30 minutes?
What do you mean?
It's done. What an amazing first conversation. Mm-hmm. And I think I hope there was some nuggets in there that people can take away and really apply. Yes, we didn't say step one of business building. Like, we're going to have
No.
conversations like that for
Yes.
sure. We're going to have strategic conversations. But for this first one, the first one out of the gate, letting you get to know us a little bit better, letting us like share our stories a little bit deeper with each other, even, I think.
I know,
And
right?
then
Yeah.
just best practices, like our best learnings
Mm-hmm.
that we can offer up on a plate to help you get started, help you just go and freaking do it, so that you can start to change your life in the way that you
Literally.
want to.
This is why we're here, you know, because we were scared of the unknown, but now we're here. Why not you?
Like, low-key, that was like a potential title for our podcast, was Why Not You? And we played with it for so long because it's already taken. And we even were like, how can we word it differently or write it like Y, as in the letter Y? Can we like play with something like that? And we were just like, no, it's just stupid now.
Yeah.
Why not you?
Now. Why not you?
Why not you? And with that, we're going to leave you on tenterhooks, hopefully, for our next drop, episode number 2, coming in a couple of days. And I'm just so grateful to be on this journey with you, Caroline, and to take everyone listening on this journey with us.
Right.
Because you're going to see the growth and you're going to see the change and you're going to see it in real time, how
You
committing to your process can change everything.
Yes. So watch this space.
Watch this space. Bye, guys.
See you later.